Class. So let's learn the last topic of this chapter, that is about the trends in chemical reactivity. The last previous lectures was actually based on some of the physical trends in the periodic table, and we are dealing with the different terms and topics like atomic size, electronegativity, and thus etc. But let's learn about the chemical reactivity, how the elements in the periodic table going for the chemical reactivity in which they can make a form of different oxides, hydrides, different compounds. But we have to be mainly focused on the oxides formation, hydrides formation, and other chemical reactivity, how they are actually going to show. Students, reactivity always based on the participation of the electrons during a bond formation. Any of the atom or element having a kind of nature to participate with a bond to make a stable compounds during a different chemical processes, chemical reactions. So how the elements going for the how the atoms going for the participation, that actually indicating the chemical reactivity of that atom towards the given atoms or molecule. As you know, the many of the atoms or elements having a tendency to be stable like inert gases, because inert gases believed as the most stable atoms or elements in the nature, because they are having a some complete electronic configuration in the last cell. So most of the elements follow the same trend to be stable like inert gases and to acquire the 8 electron in the outermost cell called octet, and except hydrogen or lithium which actually follow the duplet with a 2 electron in the outermost cell. But students, this is not only for the octet or duplet. Whenever atoms going for the reaction, it must be to be a part of the stabilization in the process. Chemical reactivity indicating how far they are from the stable process. And to be a part of a stable process, to be part of a stable compounds, every atoms are elements having a tendency to participate in the chemical reactions. Their reactivity, their participation, their speed to participate in the reaction is generally called reactivity. Means the rate of participation of the atoms in the chemical process. The rate of, okay, so you can just write the rate of participation. The rate of participation. So actually the rate indicating rate proportional to the generally reactant to some power, means the reactivity of the atom or element generally based on how easily the reactant participated in the reaction, that is proportional to the rate having some power x, which is actually called the order of reactants, the order of reaction at which speed the reactants going to participate in the reaction. As we know, the alkali metals are most reactive because they are having a great tendency to lose their electrons to be stable like inert gases. As you know, the halogens having great ability to accept electron to be like inert gases because of the 7 electron in the outermost shell. But it is not only a parameter to be a reactive. Phosphorus having a last configuration 3, P3, S2P3, but with a great the ability to be a part in the reaction called a very reactive that non-metal phosphorus. And you have to be learned that the phosphorus is so reactive that it must be kept in the water, because the phosphorus can react in the atmospheric air simultaneously and instantly. Like alkali metals, which is kept generally sodium and potassium, kept in a kerosene, that is a non-polar solvent, because that sodium potassium having very great tendency to react with atmospheric air and water also. This all reactivity actually based on the tendency to lose the electron, the combining capacity of cations with the other anions, or the sharing capacity of the atom with the other atom. Reactivity based on the actually the participation of the atom with their electron in the chemical reactions. In periodic table, generally for metals, in periodic table, generally for metals, down the group and along the period, the reactivity decreases along the period for metals. For metals, reactivity decreases, the chemical reactivity decreases along the period, because now metals going for a smaller size are having a increase of number of electrons. Like D block metals are having a low reactivity than S block metals. Even F block, lanthanoid actinoid, in which actinoid are reactive because of nuclear reaction, having a radioactive phenomena, having a radioactive process. Actinoids are radioactive and that's why they are reactive. But chemically, they are not very reactive like alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. So you can see that metals along the period reactivity decreases, metal down the group reactivity increases, and you can actually make evidence behind this about the ionization enthalpy, which will be a first basic of this process, having a very great tendency to lose the electron down the group for the metals. So you can see alkali metals are very reactive, alkaline earth metals are some less reactive than alkali one, and D block metals are least reactive among metals, least reactive because of the smaller size, a very great nuclear charge, very high number of electrons in the outermost shell. These are the some reasons. Next, for nonmetals, for nonmetals, for nonmetals along the period, generally reactivity, the chemical reactivity increases because having a great tendency to be hybridized the atoms during a bond formation, great tendency to accept the electron because of the high electron gain enthalpy, the great tendency to attract the electron because of high electronegativity. Because of these reasons, the nonmetals are generally having a more reactive along the period, and down the group the reactivity decreases because of the opposite reason of the same. So you can guess that the halogens are very reactive. Halogens are very reactive because of these reasons, and boron family or carbon family are less reactive because of the same reason. But the carbon having very good tendency to make or form a stable bond with the different atoms, and that is why a very great formation of the number of molecules or compounds, that is called organic chemistry, the one of the vast molecules we are having in a chemistry. About a millions of the compounds are known till the date. Among them, you can select the metals or nonmetals according to the tendency to participate in the ionic bond or a covalent bond. If we are just classify the reactivity on the basis of the type of bond formation, then further we can classify the metals down the group, having more tendency to be a part in the ionic bond. And this is the reason the lithium, the top one element in the that series, lithium, and the beryllium having some tendency to make a covalent bond rather than ionic with some of the nonmetals. The same way, you can decide that D block metals are actually less reactive and generally they form a covalent bond, not an ionic bond. But the same D block metals can form ionic bond also if the halogens are fluorine or oxygen participated. So you can see that fluorine and oxygen having great tendency to accept electron, and great tendency to be hybridized the atom, so they can easily make a bond with the different atoms in the table, periodic table, so they are most reactive. They are also having a great tendency to make ionic bond also. Even halogens are generally form ionic bond with alkali metals, except lithium, which can form a covalent bond with chlorine or bromine or iodine. Boron family, carbon family having great tendency to form a covalent bond. Even aluminium is a metal but form a covalent bond because of the low reactivity reason. Because of low reactivity reason. So these are the some process. If we are called for the most reactive, so cesium is a most reactive metal. Francium is a radioactive and also reactive. Out of non-metal, fluorine is very reactive. You can say most reactive, fluorine. And the phosphorus, in which there are some allotropes. That word I think you have to be just learned that word in the class 10th level. Allotrope, the different forms of the same atom or element in the nature. So phosphorus having three different allotropes called white phosphorus, red phosphorus and black phosphorus, and out of three the white phosphorus is very reactive, that should be kept in the water because of its reactivity, the white phosphorus. These are the some concept for the reactivity, what you have to be learn down and note down the in your copy. Now students, let's talk about the oxides and hydrides nature of the same compound. Actually, oxygen having very great tendency to combine with the different elements. Fluorine and oxygen can combine with any of the elements. No matter that elements are less reactive or more reactive, but oxygen and fluorine are very reactive, so they can combine. They can combine with the different atoms or elements. And that is the reason that some of the inert gases like xenon and radon having tendency to combine with fluorine and oxygen because of reactivity of fluorine oxygen, not the xenon. Xenon is inert. But oxygen and fluorine can react with xenon also and radon also. This is the reason almost elements combine with the oxygen and fluorine. This is called oxidative property of the oxygen and fluorine. They can oxidize the atoms. They can oxidize the metals, non-metals easily. They can. So, metals when combined with oxygen, generally form metallic oxide, for general form of suppose MO2, or you can write here MXOI. Metals oxide are generally basic. Metal oxide are generally basic or amphoteric. Not a single metal oxide which is actually termed as a neutral or acidic. May be possible some of them as a comparative study, but most of the time metal oxides are either basic or amphoteric. For example, iron oxide, tin oxide, zinc oxide, chromium oxide, aluminum oxide, gallium oxide are amphoteric, etc. And the alkali metals oxide are always the most basic. Alkaline earth metal oxides are always the most basic, but less basic than alkali oxides. So the reactivity towards the oxygen, the metal oxides are generally a basic one, and then basic character decreases with the same as reactivity decreases. Whenever the reactivity of the metal decreases, the basic strength of the metal oxide also decreases. So you can say that the alkali metals are most reactive, so their oxide will be a most basic. Alkaline earth metal will be in the second number, and in D block metal oxide will be a less basic and sometimes amphoteric. Just change the same root for the non-metal also. Non-metal oxide, suppose I am taking non-metal like X, react with oxygen to form X, M, Y, N, a general formula. The non-metal oxides are generally acidic, but sometimes amphoteric or neutral also, but not a basic. Non-metal oxides are not basic. They may be acidic, less acidic, amphoteric, and sometimes neutral. All these properties are behavior actually based on the number of oxygen which combined with the metal or non-metals. If the more number of oxygen can combine, the basic property decreases and acidic property increases. Note down this line. Means whenever the non-metal having a more number of oxygen in the ratio, there must be a more acidic. When the more number of oxygen in the ratio with metals, the basic character decreases. With increase of the oxygen character, with increase of the oxygen percentage in the compound, different oxides, acidic property increases. What? Acidic property increases, and that is the reason the carbon monoxide is neutral, carbon dioxide is acidic, iron oxide FeO and Fe2O3. If you have to compare FeO and Fe2O3, this Fe2O3 is actually less basic than FeO, and sometimes you can say amphoteric. Aluminium, this aluminium oxide is amphoteric, and this one is actually basic. Al2O, where aluminium having a +1 character. +1. This is one of the rarest molecule we are having. Aluminium oxide. This is called dialuminium oxide. This is a dialuminium trioxide. This one is amphoteric. This is a less basic. Oxygen character is very low. That's right. So the same way you can just deal with sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. The oxygen character increases, and that is the reason the sulfur trioxide is more acidic than the sulfur dioxide. Same way, chlorine, Cl2O, Cl2O3, Cl2O5 and Cl2O7, they all are acidic. But if you want to compare or a decreasing ascending order, then that is the chlorine heptaoxide is most acidic among these four. Students, the same way you can tell that zinc has only one oxide, that is zinc oxide, which is amphoteric, because the reactivity decreases along the period of the metal. Chromium has many oxide. The chromium has many oxide, like chromium. You can make that chromium +2, so CrO2O3, Cr2O5 and CrO4 minus chromate Cr2O7 -2. This is called dichromate. This is called chromate, chromic oxide, chromic pentoxide and chromium monoxide. All these oxides are generally less acidic and sometimes amphoteric. But you can compare with the increase of number of oxygen. With the increase of number of oxygen, the oxygen character increases. That will increase the acidic character. So you can say that chromium hepta, that's a dichromate having some acidic character, or you can say a very least basic character. This dichromate. Chromium triaxide, this is amphoteric. Can you believe? This is amphoteric. If that will be amphoteric, so among them these three must be a less amphoteric, less basic, and sometimes maybe acidic also. This dichromate. And I can guess that dichromate having some acidic character also. This is the reason how can we decide the basic character and acidic character. Like phosphorus trioxide and phosphorus pentoxide, both are less acidic, but phosphorus pentoxide is more acidic than a phosphorus trioxide. So simply along the period, the basic strength of oxide decreases. Down the group, the basic strength of oxide increases, and that is just depend upon the reactivity of metals and non-metals that can decide the acidic and basic character. Students, this is all about the oxides nature. You have to learn what you have to learn. D block metals generally having a very less basic oxides, sometimes amphoteric oxide, and maybe possible there's some of the oxide having some less acidic character also, like dichromate. Alkali metal, alkaline earth metals, we have to learn with the most basic. They are always the halogen family. They form oxide. They must be a most acidic oxide. Like oxygen react with fluorine will form a most acidic. Sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide are also very acidic. Nitrogen dioxide, nitrogen pentoxide also very acidic. So these are some acidic oxide what you have to learn. In next lecture, tomorrow we'll discuss about the nature of hydrides in the same topic, trends in chemical reactivity. This is for today. Thank you.